Hi, it's Mark. I just want to make a quick video to show you a cool feature in our program. I'm sure you have bid many vendors and customers for work, and it's always dubious as to the legitimacy and quality of the vendor and customer. I think when you get a new bid, it's really exciting and you want to bid the new project because it looks fun, but it's good to have a second look to see if they're financially stable, they have a history of stringing along contractors, or if it's a vendor, they have a history of causing problems, bad reviews, not performing well, maybe not paying their vendors and their subs underneath them. So what we created was a platform where when you upload your vendors and your customers, it'll do an insight to see their quality. Now, this is just a test platform right here, so a lot of the scores here are going to be low, but this one is real. A to Z Rental is a real company in Spokane, Washington, and if we open them up here, we can get their full report. And this is the vendor report, but we also have one for the customer side. And the customer side one is going to really dial into a lot different data. It's going to be whether they don't pay their subs on time, if they have a lot of liens against them, that sort of thing. So if we scroll down here, we can see the report. So right now off the bat, we can see this is a low risk vendor, and I would very quickly use this vendor for any sort of rental companies. There's nothing that stands out that would be a problem to me. And so you want to use this to be like, yep, let's use them. Let's bid to them. It could be a paving guy. You know, if you get a 93% record, you don't need to dive deeper into it. Obviously, do your own due diligence. This is an AI report, but it helps you give that second glance look before needing to dive in deeper. How it gets this information, it's based off the address you give it, the name it gives it, that you guys input, and then also their website. So if you don't have all of the information, let's say a lot of contractors don't have uh, a website, that's fine. It'll do its best to do a search, but just know that it might get things wrong because it might mix up an A to Z that's located in Hawaii versus Washington. So, you want to put as much information as you can there. All right, well, let's start at the top here. So business verification. This one is just making sure this is a real vendor. This isn't someone that just stood up a fake website and stood up a fake email and just shot you a message and say, hey, we can offer you the lowest machine in town and XYZ, send us over a deposit or whatever. This is that check. It's going to make sure you don't get into bed with these sorts of guys. 95% is a good score. It doesn't see anything that this is not a legitimate business. The next one is the federal registration, sam.gov. It's checking to see if they're a federal contractor. Kind of depends on what you're using the vendor for. In this scenario, it wouldn't really make sense that they would need to be one, but if it was, say, a subcontractor, you would want to see their records on sam.gov. Tied to sam.gov, if they were, then we would be able to see if they were excluded and debarred from bidding on federal projects. That would be a good indicator to you to not use them as well. Just more information, the better, right? So you don't have to dive into it. Bankruptcy is very important. Anyone that you bid, vendor or customer, doesn't matter. If they have a history of bankruptcy, that should cause a second glance. That should probably cause you pause in what you're doing. They don't have bankruptcy, so it's not a problem here, but a really good metric for you guys to look at. Federal court records, they actually did come back for a hit. This is in different states, so it does look up court proceedings to see if they're related to A to Z. Now, A to Z is a huge company all over the country, so that makes sense that they're going to be involved in a few, but none of them are specific to Spokane, so they got a clean record score on this one. It did note that obviously they were there, but nothing applies there. Litigation, another one that's really important. No lawsuits, again, kind of tied to the federal court records as well, but nothing here is noted. Reviews. So this one is going to be variable, kind of read it at your own speed because it's using Google and the Better Business Bureau. So, you got to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. There's some salty people out there that will negative people usually are the ones that comment on any website, but it is worth noting that they have a 3.9 stars out of 5, so that might affect if you want to use them versus like a different rental company like Sunbelt or one that might have a better reputation. 3.9 actually is a pretty good score, so in my mind, this would not affect me using this company, but it's there for you to look at. Liens and claims, this is very important to you, and it looks like there's nothing that is relevant to A to Z that popped up. But for a paving contractor and their subs underneath them, you want to know how many liens they have submitted and that they have against them. And then payment history as well. If there's any sort of overall financial distress problems, kind of tied to the bankruptcy and lien as a package deal, nothing here as well. Safety is going to be OSHA, and it looks like they have no citations or problems, which is great. No fatalities. Sweet. And then this one right here, it didn't come back by anything. And at the bottom, you can see for this specific vendor, it sorted these as where it found information. And then you can see actually what it searched. And that's what we think is really important, because I think you can get a score and you can trust it implicitly, or you can scroll down and see what actually generated it. This is just an insight. Don't take it as truth. It's a tool to help make your life better and give you second glance to dive deeper, but this can save you a lot of heartache. This will go work on any vendor and any customer that you put in our platform. So every time you start a new project or you want to send an RFQ to a vendor, you can check their score and see what's going on before you get in bed in business with them. And this will help you out quite a bit. Hopefully this helped. This is available on our Pro Plus Intelligence plan, and would love to connect with you. Feel free to reach out and we'll get a call set up, show how we can use this in your system. Thank you. Bye.